Good afternoon everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch on a very hot and green afternoon. Despite some places in Australia sliding into autumn, we had 36 degrees today, so I'm going to say we're a little far off autumn right now. But I wanted to do a little video this afternoon, mainly because I haven't done one in a while, and there's pretty good reason for that. Firstly, work has just been really busy at the moment. It's a really busy time for doing research and traveling and getting all of my work stuff done. And secondly, the garden has been taking up so much of my time, which, although I'm not complaining, though I am a little bit, there's just so much work to do in the garden every day, and I just can't really keep on top of it all when I'm working full time and it's this hot during the day still. So for one, the grass behind me, that really long grass over there, the grass has been really hard to maintain and just keep low. As you can see, Exhibit A behind me, some of that grass is really tall and I'm actually going to get on to mowing some of that this afternoon. And the veggie garden behind me is also exploding with growth and kind of hard to keep on top of. But there's a few little surprises in there that I'll show you right now. So for a while we were just having male flowers on all of the pumpkins and the melons, but finally we had a few days of slightly cooler weather, like in the very low 30s, high 20s, and that helped spur on some of the growth for female flowers. So I can safely say I have my first Kajari melon growing down here. Get in. This one here, down there, looks super pretty, and it's hiding safely away in there, and I think there's a few more around here. Some of the pumpkins are starting to have female flowers. I think I saw one over here. I'm not sure if that one down there got pollinated or not, but there's a few more along the way. And the patch over there, if you can remember, I might insert what it looks like pre this. I'm just going to leave completely until winter comes and it'll die off, and whatever pumpkins are under there, great, but I'm just not too much of a fan of walking through there right now, just because it feels quite snaky. And another exciting thing is my corn has started. So I have all of the corn forming now in the cobs here, and I've just been going along sometimes and just giving it a shake, because corn pollinates through wind. Although there's lots of bugs up there, they're not necessarily doing the pollination of all of these little threads. So each one of these is responsible for pollinating one of the little kernels. So I've also been helping it out by hand pollinating, and the way I do that is giving it a shake, or I can just take off one of these little stalks and then just go along and lightly brush the silks, making sure I'm pretty liberal with the pollinating, and then I'll just go around to each of those silks and try and pollinate them all. So I'm hoping that I should get a fairly good pollination rate with the corn here. Also been using some of our grass clippings as mulch, just because this area was really crazy with the grass and the weeds, so I've just been really heavily laying it on around where it was weedy, and that seems to be doing a good job. So I won't show you all of the garden at the moment. I'm planning on doing a garden tour probably this weekend, I think, which will be my February garden tour, but I will show you how the food forest is going, because I've done a bit of weeding in there. It looks a bit different now. So I did notice some of my pawpaws actually died, which is not a big deal because I have a few popping up everywhere around the garden that I can replace them with. But basically this line here really filled up with water when it rained a lot. So I need to keep building up biomass here to raise this ground level. And then in here I've managed to weed all of the paths, which subsequently after I did, we had a massive burst of rain, and I will insert a few photos here of what the paths look like. It's basically a running little creek through here. I have a few weed things up in the garden, an umbrella down there to try and save a native ginger. Didn't end up being saved. Just noticed this little capsicum here, that is exciting. And then I've just been trying to shade some of my other plants because of the really hot day that we had today, and tomorrow we're also expected 35 degrees. The good thing is though that the ground here, even though we haven't had rain for a few days, it's actually fairly moist still, so it's retaining a lot of water. Bad side is some of the plants didn't like too much water, so some of the pepinos, I'm not sure if they're going to make it or not, but they just got too waterlogged. The capsicums also really didn't seem to like it, but they've bounced back okay, which I'm happy of. The green manure side here is looking pretty good, and all of the rosellas are doing really nicely. They're actually starting to get their little flowers and calyxes in there. So I'm hoping they get a little bit bigger so they can provide like a little hedgerow here. And I also planted a feijoa tree there and another one down here. And I'm hoping will also bush up nicely and give a nice hedge. And I have my first sugar baby watermelon down here. I'll be pretty surprised if I do end up getting to eat that little one. I've never successfully grown melons before. So I'm really hoping I can get a chance to try that. And then an update on the bush next door. I wish I could kind of go through and walk you through some of the awesome plants through there and do a little walkthrough, but it's just so thick to walk through and very snaky as well. So not too sure, but it's pretty happy. There's a few weeds in there currently that I can see. A lot of these bushy things around these trees are asparagus weed, but we have been seeing a lot of king parrots around. You can hear them up there and see them. They're just up there right now. There's a family of them. We've also started feeding some of the magpies and butcherbirds around here, so we always have a few little birds around the house, and I'm thinking of putting out some bird feeders for some of the other birds with a few grains on them and whatnot, just because this whole area behind me here used to be that, and I can't even imagine how many birds this area would have lost when humans came in and cleared all of this area. So I feel like it's kind of my duty to give back a little bit, and buying food for some of the birds is one way to do that. So I'm trying to give back and help Mother Earth as much as I can, because she definitely needs it. I'm also planning on planting some more trees behind me here once I mow all of this grass, which I should probably get onto fairly soon. So I'll be planting some silky oaks and some other native trees, maybe some food trees in there, all that I've gotten for free, that I've got in my little nursery from food swaps and things that I've grown from seed and cuttings. And if whoever lives here next wants it, that's great, but if they don't, it doesn't really matter. I'll just plant wherever I move to next. I can kind of see behind me the storms are starting to brew. Now, we haven't had a severe storm in a while, but there are some warnings around for today and tomorrow to have potential severe storms, so I'm going to keep an eye on all of my plants if we do have hail or any storm like that. But it was just a bit of a check-in to say things are hard right now in the garden. It is hard to keep on top of it all. Mowing is hard, work is hard, but I am loving all of this green, and all of the native animals and plants around me and bugs that you can hear are all happy, which makes me happy. So I'm going to continue doing the best I can do and keep growing as much food and providing as much habitat as I can. So thank you so much for watching another video. Thank you for all of those new people who have subscribed. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of videos you'd like to see, and I will definitely try and make them for you. I'm going to get on with the mowing now while enjoying all of the beautiful birds around me. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next video, happy gardening. Bye.